We are now joined by UFC middleweight Robert Whittaker, sharing the headline of a card opposite Kelvin Gastelum in mid-April. Rob, your original opponent, Paulo Costa, pulls out of the fight with almost bang on a month before you were scheduled to share the octagon with him. What changes in your preparation with that opponent swap at that stage?
Yeah, obviously my OCD flared up to begin with, and I was very upset, but I got over it pretty quickly. Fortunately, me and Kelvin were scheduled to fight, I think, a couple of years back, and so I've done work for him, and I've had a lot of work with southpaws and for southpaws in the last few years. So making the adjustment and the switch wasn't too hard. They're very different opponents. One's a southpaw, one's an orthodox, and they're very different body types. But sometimes you just got to roll with it.
It was at UFC 234 morning of the fight. You had a medical emergency, and that fight went away. What is the level of satisfaction having done essentially all the homework for an opponent and then thinking that that fight's never going to come together, and 2 years later, surprise, it does?
Yeah, I feel like it's a fight that I owe him anyway because of what happened. That's the worst thing for both of us really to have happened, and it's good that we're gonna be able to run it back.
Since your loss to Israel Adesanya, you've beaten two really tough dudes, Darren Till and Jared Cannonier. You're a lifelong mixed martial artist, or lifelong martial artist, I should say. I don't want to discredit development in training, but what does or what do competitive results, plural, do in terms of making you a better fighter?
Every fight that I go into makes me a better fighter. It adds to my experience pool. I can also my experience and my sharpness, my instincts, they all get a little better. In a fight, I get to try what works and what does not. I can see how my body moves, how my attacks change, and just how my opponents react to different scenarios. It's honestly the only way to test out how good you are.
And they were, again, two tough opponents, 3 months apart. We haven't seen you now compete in 6 months, deserved time off. Aside from earning your black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu officially, congratulations, where have you grown as a fighter in the interim?
Thank you. I guess I think my striking would have to be up there with probably the skill set that's raised the most in this time. My striking as I feel has gotten crisper, has gotten sharper. Come on the back of with more experience in the fight game after the last couple of fights. I really look forward to showcasing that this next fight.
An annoying part of my job is the amateur matchmaker side of it. As a former champion yourself, we have to sit here and guess as to what a win over this opponent could mean. And I don't mean to look past Kelvin, but in your heart of hearts, what do you think a win over Gastelum would do for the likelihood of you getting a shot at Israel Adesanya again in the near future compared to what a win over Paulo Costa would have done?
Honestly, it's hard for me to say. I'm the sort of fighter that I don't look past fights. I can't look past how hard they're going to be, and just honestly though, to simplify it, a win opens up the world to me. It opens up all doors, and the world's my oyster. So I just got to try and achieve that.
Having now prepared for Gastelum a second time round, and on the other side of you being very open about uh, correcting work-life balance, how much have you been able to see, I guess, a difference in your preparation compared to when you were going through camp in the weeks leading up to UFC 234?
Honestly, it's life changing. I Everything is just so much more balanced. I'm enjoying the journey and the process much more. It's yeah, it's a much more enjoyable experience. And if I'm enjoying it, I want to do it. I want to be a part of it. I want to get better. I want to like I'm driving myself, and it like I said, it is life changing.
And a lot of people here see you through one lens, UFC middleweight contender. And then it's been cool to see on your Instagram you taking up guitar, you training your son. I mentioned picking up the jiu-jitsu black belt. how specifically, Rob, has seeking that balance, I guess, made you better at your profession, the thing for which so many people here know you?
I guess the biggest thing is just I'm much happier. I'm much happier, and I've always said a happy Rob's a dangerous one. So I'm just enjoying myself a lot more, as well as I'm a part of and very present in the things that matter, and it's good for my soul.
And we see the Reaper logo on your chest. We've seen, again, on social media, Baby Reaper, and that having a little bit of legs to it. What's it been like having a second generation of this brand that you've created?
Yeah, it's cool. It's a little project we've been working for a few years, and it's to be able to include my kids and the journey of not having any kids to having now four, and it is such a rewarding experience.
Rob, I know you're fighting for the first time on the other side of 30, but you are still a young man in this profession. We look forward to all that your future holds, and specifically this fight against Kelvin Gastelum coming up. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.